an alcoholic in London. Now, sometimes look back and I wonder, was this the start of my downfall in a way with alcohol? Because I grew up in a pretty small town in Northumberland. Not a lot went on there. Certainly wasn't a major city. And when I was a little bit older, 14, 15, I used to sneak down to London on the train, would you believe? I had a couple of little jobs when I was a teenager. And on my days off, I used to play in a band. And I used to say to my parents, oh, I've got band practice. I'm going to stay at John's or whatever. I said, oh, that's fine, that's no problem. My life was quite restricted because we used to live in a police house in a town called Morpeth. And I was just constantly under the watchful eye of police coming in and out of the yard and the station and whatnot. Anyway, London was a bit of an escape for me, and I loved the bright lights, so I would just disappear. And it was always my dream to move down there. And I moved down there eventually. I used to like, I don't know what it was, I was a steady drinker by then. Well, social drinker. I used to like the London pubs and the glamour of it all. What I thought was the glamour of it all. The lunchtime drinking and all that sort of thing. But I wasn't problematic then. I just was enjoying a drink. I later got married. I joined the Met Police after that, and I was in South London. That wasn't quite the same as the West End. However, I used to still go to the West End of London quite often, and there's quite a drinking culture in the police as well. Just social, that I thought was social anyway. But a lot of police stations had like a police club, that sort of thing. That was fine. I did quite well. I got promoted quite quickly, and I asked for a transfer to West End, which was obviously where I wanted to be, the bright lights, etc. And I moved up to Epping, which was on the end of the Central line. So I didn't have to drive to work, or didn't have to drive into the West End, anything. It was great. So on my days off, I used to go in, have a few drinks and that sort of thing. So I continued steadily with my drinking. I was doing quite well at work, didn't have any problems. And I knew I was drinking maybe a little bit too much on my days off, because I'd generally have a day off, or days off midweek, because obviously you work shifts, don't you, if you're on a core shift. And often I think, well, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm off after a long period of nights and lates and that sort of thing. What was I going to do Tuesday? This is before my daughter was born. I was mid-20s then. And well, there's a series of pubs in Epping, so I used to walk down the high street early on, 10:30, wait for the first one to open and go to this pub on the outskirts, called the Forest Gate pub, Forest Gate Inn actually. Lovely little place. It was quite old-fashioned, oldie worldy type of place. I had a couple of drinks in there. I used to drink Kronenberg and lime. A lot of people used to drink lime. I used to have lime in the drinks. And then I used to walk along the high street about midday, 12:30, have a couple more drinks on the high street. Maybe chat to a couple of people I knew. I actually met a bloke from the same town as me who was living in Epping as well, who was, funny enough, a police dog handler. How strange is that? Never mind. Used to have a few drinks with him now and again, and then I'd think, oh, what should I do today? The weather was better down there than it was in Northumberland. It was always nice in the summer. I thought I'll go to the West End, get on the underground train. In West End for about 2 o'clock. Hit the West End of London. Obviously the pubs, I used to love the London pubs. I don't know what it is, they have some certain charm. They're always busy. There's always something going on in the centre, isn't it? And the boozers are great. You've got all sorts of characters in there. I mean, you get characters in every boozer, but the characters in a local boozer are the same people. Most haven't got any money. Most haven't done much. The guys in London, or the women, they've all got stories, haven't they? London attracts all sorts of people. Ambitious people, down and outs, people who don't care, people who've given up, people who are high flyers, all sorts. A local pub has it's not very transient, isn't it? It's not a very transient society in the north. And I love the fact that you go into these pubs and every day you see somebody else. And when you have a drink, you used to sit down and start chatting to people. And everyone's your friend, aren't they, when you're having a drink? And they say, oh, just watch my phone, or watch my pager, or watch my briefcase, I'm just looking at the loo, can you get a couple of pints in? They'll buy you a pint before you know where it is at 6 o'clock. And you've had quite a few drinks. So it's to jump in the underground, go back home, and then try and get myself into some sort of state of normality. Pretend to my wife that I hadn't had that much to drink. She didn't get in about 7, make a quick meal. And then, because it was day off, I thought, well, another reward, isn't it? I'd go on the high street again, or I'd go to the Forest Gate pub with the dog and sit there all night, and then come home and then start to drink more. But I was still doing well at work. It wasn't affecting me at all then. And then I used to sort of look at myself, well, I've got quite a good life down here, haven't I? You know, money was all right. I probably went out in London, and I was doing very well, very well. But this it'll sort of catch up with you, see, in time, because life changes. I always used to get stuck in a rut sometimes, and my mother always says, you know, nothing stays the same. You think it's going to stay the same, it doesn't, it changes. So when I was 31, my wife fell pregnant with my daughter, who actually saved my life in the end. And the stresses on the family, well, the three of us, well, the two of us really, me and my wife, it was already dodgy. The relationship became 10 times worse. And I think that's when I started to drink a bit more. I tried to control it. She took me to the doctors. The doctor said this, that, and the other. Cut down. She didn't tell me to stop. She said cut down a bit, and I just tried to cut down a little bit, and that didn't work. And then, once my daughter came along, and there was more family pressure, and then I was drinking a bit more and a bit more. And I sort of kept a steady eye in it, so that my work wasn't affected. But I was days off, I was struggling a bit on my days off, and I'd maybe get up in the morning, have a drink before I went along the high street. Felt maybe a little bit dizzy, a bit detached, all that sort of thing. And then I'd be, night time a little bit tired, and she would come in and say, "What's wrong with you?" And well, I'd been tired and looking after my daughter, and I've got to work, and it was caused loads of domestics, but I'd still be drinking. So I'd take the dog out for a walk again. The dog was very well known in the pub, and have some more drinks, and just kept on like that. Was like a vicious cycle, a vicious circle of self-destruction in a way. But I still did all right at work. Eventually I retired, and we made the terrible decision, in my view, to move back to the northeast, and then the marriage just dissolved, basically, and I was left on my own, which, to be honest with you, I was quite pleased about, because the marriage wasn't the best. And I used to see my daughter once every weekend, but I sort of fell into this heavy drinking stage, which I call stage 3, where you know it's going to do you harm, but you just carry on. I couldn't get off it. I tried to get medication, which I did a couple of times. I would be off for a few months, a couple of years, and I would actually relapse. And then it came to 2016, and then 2006, I thought, I've got to make an effort here, get off. I persuaded the doctor, he didn't want to give me them, I persuaded the doctor to give me diazepam. I'd only had them a few times, but they're very worried in case you get addicted to these tablets, you know. Because diazepam, I was told, was like alcohol in a tablet form, it sort of settles your brain down a bit. No, I need that. However, I was off for 8 years, and then I relapsed, and then I became very ill after that. So basically there's hope there, you can get yourself well, but was it London that took me to it? I think circumstances sometimes can create a melting pot for maybe things going wrong. Things went well in other ways, don't get me wrong, but if you're trying to keep off the drink, or you want to give up, you've got to try and keep away from places that you used to enjoy. So if I go to London now, I try and keep away from places that I used to drink in. But then again, I'm 5 years into sobriety, so I'm pretty confident. But if you're in a local area and you go to the same place, or you used to go to the same place regularly, try and keep away, because there'll be triggers there, you know. And 5 years I haven't had any reason to relapse. I'm in a good relationship, I'm very steady now. I don't want to drink again. If I drink again, I know it will kill me, because the first one will kill you if you've had a few relapses especially. So if you're trying to keep off, keep away from the local horns, keep away from people you used to drink with. Because funny enough, some people won't like you getting well because they want to get well and they can't. Sounds a bit rough, that, but it's true. There's a lot of jealousy in the world, you know. So be careful. If you want to send me a comment, please do. If you've got any subjects as well that you'd like me to cover, please let me know. If you'd like to make a small donation to support the channel, help me keep making the videos, then I've got to buy me a coffee link on the site, and I'll speak to you all very soon.